Smart Cities Week studio now for Smart Cities Week 2015. I'm Carol Stimmel, and I'm with Albert Seubers, who is a strategic global strategist for Atos International. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Atos International is a very interesting company to me as a company in the smart cities space, because one of the things that's notable about your company is from top to bottom, your company yourself focuses very, very much on sustainability. And I'm quite curious as to, first tell us what you're doing in the smart cities area, but I'm also quite curious to find out about how that's informed by the way you run your very company itself.
So when we look about cities, to be honest, we don't talk about smart cities that much. We talk about my city to give the feeling and the impression that we want to work on creating that city you want to live in by choice. Not because you were born there. We want to make sure that you choose the city in the world where you say, this fits my profile, this is my interest best. And of course that city needs to be the city that's bringing you culture, education, economic deployment options, but also it has to provide you a safe place and a healthy place to live, to raise your kids. So health and sustainability, air quality, whatever topic you want to cover in this, it's all bring together. And for us, it's an important part. We help companies all across the world, global companies, big companies. And if they move offices or they expand, they want to select a city that's best for their employees, so they can find the best. So sustainability for us means that we have to lead our own talk. So we run IT data centers. So we run our data centers in the most sustainable way we can. Helsinki, for instance, our data center is underneath the city. So we take cooling from the mountains. It doesn't cost us energy. And the surplus of energy, because every computer that's running is producing warmth. So we can combine the heat, we collect it, and we send it to the combined power and heating system of the neighborhood that's on top of our data center. So basically we don't lose any energy. That's just an example. But there's a big push on everybody in our company. We're 100,000 people in 78 countries, so to travel only when we need to. We bring the work to our employees. We don't bring the employee to the works anymore, which is the classic IT situation. So we limited our offices till 20% of what we used to have 5 years ago. We reduced our number of company cars by about 50 to 60%, depending on the country where you're looking at. But just looking at our headquarters, which is in Paris, we got at least 5 cars during the day, fully electrified vehicles in front of our office. They're charged by a PV system on our office. And if we need to go into the city of Paris, we use these cars. So we don't, or public transport. We don't use our regular cars. So commuting is a bit different. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Flying is not necessarily. We use our online meeting system with our customer, with our company. So all of the world we can communicate. So I'm traveling because I am in a global position, but I'm only traveling to be at events like this or meet with customers. And the rest of the week, I'm working from my home office. Right. I'm hardly ever at the office because it's simple. Get out of bed, go behind your PC, switch it on, and you can work 12 hours a day if you want to. Yeah. Right. So that's what we impose on our employees to make sure that we lead our talk.
Thank you for answering that way, because when you talked about smart cities as being my city, I mean that really does express your uniqueness really in the market. And one of the things that it sounds like is, when you are working with a city to make a recommendation about whatever you're working on, you've used your own company almost as a global company, somewhat as an ecosystem. You're up close and personal with what it is you're actually working towards, at least at some level in the cities. So what are some of the more interesting, you talked a little bit about your IT, using the waste heat and the construction of that. Can you follow a line for me from some of these sorts of initiatives into your My City thinking and what you're actually recommending?
Well, the city is a complex environment. Because basically if you look at the departments of cities, you can divide them into 8. So safety is an important part, citizen services, from garbage collection to, well, you need a birth certificate or you need a permit for parking your car, whatever. Interaction with the citizens, it seems easy, but it's difficult for a lot of cities to make that work. Just follow the agenda of the mayor. The mayor doesn't want to be in the headlines of the newspaper. Right. So safety incidents, we'll make sure he will reach the headline. So he's directly involved in make sure that he's creating the safe city, a city where you as a person would feel safe. Transport and traffic, we're always complaining not finding a parking place where we want to park, how to get to be in congestion every time when you go to the office. So these are specific topics that we work on, but also care. I mean, it's not just that cities are growing and that we travel the world. We get older and we have to live more like on our own without necessarily support and sustain. So these are topics that we clearly work on. And then, of course, the sustainability, the health environment, but it all brings together. And the most important thing is what we try to do is to work with cities as a whole and make sure that the departments in the city can work together, cross-departmental collaboration. They save most money out of it. And I know that it's, to be honest, we sometimes have to fight the politicians because politicians today, the elected members, they want to make their name stick onto a big project with big budgets. Right. And we just tell them it's no longer there. And the thing is, you hear it here on the Smart Cities Week. It's about Internet of Things, it's about cloud, it's about, these are just technologies that raise. But to be honest, Internet of Things is not something that's gonna happen in a few years.
Right.
It already happened, it's there.
Yeah.
You wear your cell phone, so you're connected.
That's right.
And somebody you don't know knows where you are. And that same person or that same company already is able to predict where you're going to be in the next 4 hours. The thing of creating at My City is the basic discussion is, how much of your private information are you willing to share for, well, let's call it the greater good? Create a more efficient and effective city administration. Go online, take care of your own stuff. The city needs to be able to do this and support you on this. But if you need that birth certificate, you want to apply for it in the middle of the night. You come home for a long trip and you need to renew your passport. You don't want to wait for office opening hours. Mm-hmm. You want to go online and say, well, hey guys, in 3 weeks I need a new passport. But sometimes you need a parking permit. You go online, you ask for the renewal. All the information is there already. Just pay online, make sure you print it yourself or get whatever you need for that. This is the basics. The one project that we demonstrated here at Smart Cities Week is a project in Eindhoven. And that's rather an intrusive project. Because we show to the people that Internet of Things is really there and it's tracking you. So it's in the Netherlands, not too big a city, the 5th city of the Netherlands. So for us, Dutch people, it's a large city. For you Americans, it's just, okay, it's there. But still, it's in the pub street. Right. 55 pubs, only pubs in the street, 300 meters, and in the weekends, 15 to 20,000 students and youngsters there. So every weekend there are serious incidents. So what we show to the public is that with cameras, we do counting. We don't know who you are, but we know you are there. So somebody's there. So the fire brigade, they're on alert when the 5,000 people in there, when 10,000 people in there, because if something is happening in this old street, they have to start evacuating. Right. They have to get into fire.
You're taking density measures and
exactly.
Yeah.
We know where people are, how they move. These cameras always also analyze how people move. So if people start moving in groups, that's a threat to safety of the rest of the people. It's not something you don't allow, but you have to be aware of. So police potentially already in the street, but it's camera. Now, the neat thing that we add to it is sound analytics. So it's not the sound level, because outdoors it's 85 decibels, which is the limit of an internal discotheque sound level. But we were able to measure the sound spectrum changes. So anomalies in that. People start shouting, whether they're cheering, they're happy, or whether they're mad. What we see, there is a change in the spectrum at certain spots in the street. Now you combine that with your analytics of how people are moving. Are they moving towards it? Are they moving away? Are they running? Are they moving it in groups? And because in parallel we do analytics on social media that's been shared, so we know what to expect. It's a football match, people will meet in the street, is it a happy
Right,
meeting?
so you're combining
all
sorts of data.
Yes.
Well, you're actually, talking about a very specific sort of technology application, and you've raised several important issues from a use case perspective for a city, so public safety, like we're talking about now. But you also raised an issue earlier, which was the political issues, really. So you have a mayor who has a shorter electoral cycle,
Yes.
who is looking for bad things not to go bad right now and to make immediate improvement. But we know in any kind of city advancements that we need to be able to balance the short-term gains with the long-term benefits. Can you tell us how you do that?
If you look at the city long-term, the leading topic is economy. Mm-hmm. I mean, Look at major American cities. You see it everywhere in Europe. Industry closes. They have to go. They go bankrupt, or they relocate to cheaper locations in the world where they can produce the same products. That has a direct impact. So if your economy goes down, there's more threat of unsafe situation. People have more time at hand. On the other hand, if you can make sure that your city is a safe place, it will attract new investors. It will make more happy people go and enjoy time in your city. So there's direct link between safety and your economy. And of course, in the longer run, if you want to attract more investors, this is a big thing for cities at the moment. Understand the skills levels of what your residents can provide. So understanding the data of what are schools producing, what are the skills level, what is the existing skills level of unemployed people, what type of companies should you attract to make sure that these people find a job. It's not easy, but most cities don't even know, have a good overview of what's the capacity or the capabilities of people living in a city. So we work on this already. Here in America, we work with cities already with kids of 14 age and above to make sure that with schools and the industry, the residing industry is in that city, there's a link already between schools. So young people already have an understanding, what could my future look like in my city? Because the time I'm graduating or I'm finishing my vocational education, it's not just a university, it's every level of education. Start your career in your own city. That's an important part for a local economy. If you can make that happen, and in Cincinnati we're running this for 6 years, 8 years now, it's a good success. And that's the case that we are now replicating in Europe. You see more interaction. Asian part, well, it's a bit different still, but they will come to that same level. So the longer run, that's what we work on. But to make sure that you can do this, you have to start working with today and tomorrow.
What I'm hearing that you're working on at Atos globally is creating livable, vital communities now for the ultimate return on investment, which is economic vitality. Yes. So thank you so much, Albert. Really appreciate you coming by and talking to us today at Smart Cities Week, and good luck with everything.
Thank you very much, Carol.